All right. Am I recording? Yes, I'm recording. Okay. Welcome to our team call. I'm so excited because we have Steph Cramm, and Steph is on our upline team with Fit Force. And I think we started like right around the same time. And she's
Totally.
been just like one of my favorite people through the whole ride. And this girl has got her stuff organized and she's got it all figured out, and it's awesome. And she's been a full-time recruiter along with working the business, and now she's a full-time stay-at-home mom and working the business. So I feel like she's going to be really great to hear how she does it now that she's been on both sides of it, so she can literally help all of us.
Yeah. As best as I can. So real quickly, you guys, how many of you on the call, and for those of you catching this in the replay, feel welcome to hit Brooke back up with this too, but even in the chat tab or raise of hands, how many of you are stay-at-home moms where like that's your job? You don't leave the house for a day job. Do we have any stay-at-home mamas? Hadley? Alrighty, sister, I see you. How many work outside the home? Okay, cool. So here's why I asked this, because number one, I will be honest, I always wanted to be that, like I felt like God put me on this earth to be a mama, but I never truly envisioned myself being that stay-at-home mom. Like I took pride in my hustle at my day job, the title that I had, the salary that I had, the office that I had, like all of the things. And I had it set in my head that that was just how I was going to rock it. I was going to be that corporate ladder climber, crush it with the baby on my hip in stilettos. And what I quickly realized, like I'm just being honest, you guys. And so I grew up where my mom was that stay-at-home mom, and all three of my two sisters, my sister-in-law, they all stayed home with their babies. And there was a piece of me that, if I'm being honest, was very, very envious and very bitter because they didn't miss out on those moments. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, but I'm like rocking it. For me, it was ego and it was pride. And I had a lot of like those idols that sat on my heart as far as like what defined me. But I want to know where you are, because I'll be honest, like y'all, this call is not about me. And God love you, Brooke, but like y'all, I'm a hot mess. I need to have structure. Like I need someone or something telling me what to do and having that laid out for me, because otherwise, especially being home now, it's easy for me just to like eat a couple brownies or chocolate chip cookies and like go take a nap. Like I need structure because I can get complacent, as I'm sure you probably feel the same way too. You know what I mean? So the things that I'm going to share with you are truly just coming. Number one, know that they're coming from a place of love. And I'm going to give you guys some really tough love. And I say this, like I invited my team to jump on too. And I pray to God some of them jump on, because some of them need this. But I'm sure some of you guys do too, because if you're here, you're trying to figure this out. You're trying to figure out how to fit this in, whether you are mom or you are not a mom. I'll lend you my kids if you want to practice. But like, no matter where you are, you're trying to figure this out in the busy cracks of your day. And let's be very honest. It would be so nice to sit back and create extra hours in the day. And it's wonderful to sit back and look at other people who are already where it is that we want to go and go, oh, well, it's easy for them because they've already made it. Do you know what I mean? So let me just like humble myself and to break down a couple of those barriers, you guys. Like the fact that I am now home, like, was it fun to make that post and like celebrate that? Yeah, but let me tell you what, now my back's up against the wall. Like I can't just sit back and take a nap. Like I got to actually work. The difference is in the time freedom. Okay. And here's the thing. If you are willing, Dave Ramsey says this, and I believe John Maxwell said it too. Like if you are willing right now, I don't care how long you've been in this business. If you are willing at this moment right now to sit back and go, I am willing to spend however long it takes. Like I'm not even going to say a couple years, like however long it takes for you. I am willing to do what it takes right now to make sacrifices, to be disciplined in how I'm spending my time, to catch myself on those things that aren't really serving my business, so that way later I can live the life that I was designed and created to live. But the problem is that many of us are extremely selfish and we want to have our cake and eat it too. We're not willing to make sacrifices. And so the things I'm going to share with you guys are truly coming up from a place where I have needed to make sacrifices. It's coming from a place of humility, where there were times where my husband was like, I'll see you in the morning. Do you know what I mean? And y'all, like, this is not a call. If you are looking for someone to be like, bleed from your eyes and run off of 2 hours of sleep and like, I am not your girl. I am not, because I've done that and it's exhausting and it makes this business not fun. But if you are willing to not self-bully, but truly self-evaluate how you are spending your time and be willing to make some adjustments, not forever, but for a season. And if you are willing to lose the mindset of, I've been doing this for however long, I should be there. And if you are willing to drop the mindset of, I'm going to give this 6 months or I'm going to give this a year, and you are willing to adopt the mindset of as long as it takes, I will promise you this will change your life. But the beauty of that is that nothing that Brooke or whoever like your immediate mama upline is, nothing that we can say can change that for you except for you. So I want you to walk away from this call feeling empowered, knowing that you have everything already in you. I'm just giving you a couple extra tools to add to your Mac tools toolbox so you can break them out and use them when you need. Okay? And y'all, I love living in the chat tab. So if there's questions or anything, like drop them, because this is for you. This is truly for you. So I'm going to start with a couple things. Number one, I want you, and if you are already doing this, high five, like you're already ahead of the game. But do y'all keep a daily schedule, like a daily calendar or planner of what your day's looking like? What's kind of like an appointment calendar? Okay, I see a couple hands. I see some people like, oh, maybe I should. Listen, I love you. I never did it first too. I never did. I would wing everything. To bring you guys back, when I first started this business, I was working 65 hours a week in a job where literally I remember being in Disney World with my kids and being like this and like this in freaking Disney World, because my job at the time did not allow me to step away. And I was paid a really low salary and a high commission and third-party recruiting. This was before I went over to the dark side in corporate. And I recruited engineers. So like, you want to talk about, I hate having to recruit new coaches. Imagine having to recruit people who are like getting phone calls from every other staffing firm in the city. Like that was my job. And I literally sat back, you guys, asked Lauren, and I was like, I don't have time to add one more thing onto my plate. Like I just don't. I'm working 12-hour days. I'm coming home and kissing my kids when they're in bed and then trying to like go to sleep if my phone doesn't beep. So the first thing that I want you to know is part of my own limiting beliefs was coming from this lack mindset. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough. And the moment that you wrap your head around that, that's all that you're going to focus on. Instead of ignoring the fact that like, because I was so tired, I would come home and I would binge watch Netflix for 2 hours and I would eat Oreos. Because that was my justified me time because I'm mentally exhausted. But y'all know, like Netflix wasn't paying my bills when we were $200 in the red. Oreos was not helping me lose those 45 pounds of baby weight. So like, you got to self-evaluate, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share a couple things with you guys. And I have some resources, Brooke, I can share with you my Google file to this if y'all want to use this. But I want to walk you through a typical day that even like Hadley, I know you stayed home, anyone else who stays at home, you can still incorporate and adjust this with your schedule too. I want to give you both sides. So I'm going to start off by talking to the working coach who is outside the home for 40 plus hours a week. Even if you're part-time, this can apply. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to share with you how does my schedule look now, and what I think you're going to find, it doesn't look that much different. Okay, there's different types of disciplines. So I want you guys in the chat tab, I want you to drop, what time are you waking up in the morning? And be honest, this is not a self-bullying call. This is not like to make you feel bad, but just be brutally honest. What time are you waking up? Y'all are rock stars, man. Lot of early risers. I dig it. 6:20, 4, 5, 6 something, sometimes 3:30. Shannon, oh, honey, you need a double portion of Energized Sister. All the time, all the time. All right, so here's the first thing. I'm going to share with you my working schedule, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to fill in the exact time. The time itself don't put so much weight in the exact time, but just look at it as in terms of the order or maybe pockets. Because y'all, I started this business working in the busy mom cracks. Power hours did not exist for me because I didn't have it. Okay. So those of you guys that are up early morning, high five, you're already ahead of the game. Some of you who are sitting back and you're feeling like you don't have time, maybe that's a sacrifice where you need to start. Maybe you need to get up 30 minutes earlier, right? And this is where you need to figure that out for yourself. So the stuff 5 years ago, when I first started, when I said, look, I'm tired of living paycheck by paycheck. I'm tired of having someone else tell me what to do. My wake up time was between 4:30 and 5 a.m. And what I did, I got up. I would always turn on. One of the things that was drilled into my head very early on as a coach is personal development is huge. And y'all, even to this day, I know when my business struggles, when my marriage struggles, when my personal life struggles, is when I'm not doing some sort of personal development. This is you putting your oxygen mask on first. You have to do that. And I knew that at least how my brain is wired, it's like a sponge. First thing in the morning, because y'all, and if you do this, I feel you. First thing in the morning, I was so conditioned with my day job. What emails did I miss? What messages did I miss, right? And part of the reason why I was waking up every morning feeling so much in lack is because as soon as I got up, I'm checking this with, oh my God, I'm already behind. And I just woke up. So my phone, I set on my phone now, I'm not allowed to check anything until 7 a.m. So maybe that's something, you guys set a timer, you can go into your settings on your phone, set it, I think it's like in sleep mode, but where it won't let you open an app until a certain time. For me, that was huge, you guys. But what I did do is I would search YouTube for something motivational, something quick to listen to. And I would wake myself up while I got my workout clothes on, if I didn't sleep in them, which that later, sidebar. I'd brush my teeth. I'd grab, this was pre-energized. I wasn't a fan of E&E. I just did coffee. But this was really, really helpful. And especially in those mornings but by that time, you guys, Jeremy and his old job, he was already out of the house. So it was just like me. This was my routine. And so here's the thing, like there may have been seasons where, like I said, I woke up a little bit early, but 5 a.m. I was up and I was listening to that PD and I was getting my day started. 5:15, I would sit down in front of my computer and I would crush out a power half hour while I was finishing my coffee. And the reason why this was important is because how many of you hate inviting? Like that's your big ugly toad. I'm not even going to say it's a frog. It is a big ugly slimy toad. And you're like, I just want people to come to me like the post and pray. You know what I mean? Y'all, I hate, even to this day, I hate it. I hate it. But it's because I hate it so much that I have to do it first. I have to do it first. So I sat down at my desk and I didn't just wing it. I worked from a list. I had a list. And you guys, to this day, I still have a list. Every week, I track my new conversations. I highlight the people that say no. Yeah, people tell me no. They still tell me no. But I work from a list. So for 30 minutes, I set a timer on my phone and I knocked it out. I connected. I got my invites out. You guys, this is phase 1. Oh, what I'm tracking on? This, honestly, it ain't nothing fancy. Like I'm usually pen and paper kind of person. But I've kept this back when our team, when we did Team Cup, we did like 100 conversation challenge in our little crew. And I still work off of this. I just keep adding names to it. So it's just a little like 100 things that, I don't know, something that took me like 2 minutes to whip up on Excel, nothing fancy. But y'all, here's the thing. This is where you stay in phase 1. Because one of the things I try so hard to get, my coaches to adopt with me, because I knew I struggled with it, is that if you get up and the only thing that we are focused on doing every day is the posting and praying, you're not building a business. Now you just have an expensive, time-sucking hobby. If you want to build a business, you got to do the things that are going to grow your business first. You have to connect with people. You have to invite. So from 5:15 to 5:45, that's what I did. I did not check into my challenge groups. I did not check in with my team. And I did not check my messages. I did not. I ate that frog first. 5:45, by this point, like I said, this was before Energize, where my coffee had sunk in. I felt like I was a little bit awake, and I felt accomplished. So I was going then downstairs in to do my workout. I would do a 30-minute workout. And by the time I did that, I already felt this sense of accomplishment because I did something that was moving my business forward. Even if I didn't see the fruit yet, I knew that I was at least planting seeds. And that jazzed me up. So I would do a 30-minute workout, 6:15, 6:30-ish, depending on how fog-brained I was, how long it would take me to come up with what I wanted to post. I would post a sweaty selfie in my challenge groups first because these are the people that already said yes. So I'm going to honor them first. Okay? I checked in with my challenge groups. I would maybe post something for accountability on my newsfeed, and then I'd go take a shower. Now, here's the thing. I needed, like when it came to my challenge groups, I needed to use also breaks during my day, which is what I'm going to talk to you about, to kind of check in, to love bomb on them and encourage them. But so I wouldn't spend a lot of time in the morning. I would post my check-in. Because here's the thing. If people have already told you yes, the idea for us as coaches and as leaders is not perfection. If you're trying to chase perfection, you've missed the point. The point is, I am coming to the rooftop first. I am showing up first. And so whatever the rest of the crew did, I'm always going to be here, even if they chose not to show up. Mm-hmm. And that sets a tone. Do you see what I'm saying? And you can take that same mindset in your team, that no matter what everyone else does, I'm coming to the rooftop every day, even if I'm the only one there by myself. So that was huge. That was important. So then I'd go, and I'd keep listening to PD, you guys. Maybe it would mean listening to a podcast, or like if I had a really bad day, I'd bust out some kind of jams on my phone. And while I'm in the shower, I'd be listening to that. But here's the thing. By 6:45, 7 o'clock, that's when I take off coach hat and, you know, the hashtag girl boss, whatever. And I'm mom. And I'm now mom. By 6:45, 7 o'clock, my kids are allowed out of their room. Now hear me. Who's the boss? You or your kids, mamas? And I hear from people all the time, like, listen, my babies are my world, and they know that mom's got sucker written across her head. However, if I let my kids dictate and determine my availability when I'm doing something that's not just for me, but it's for them, and it's going to be for their kids, you better damn believe you stay in your room until 7 o'clock, and then you come out, and now you have all of me. You don't have 50% mom. Do you feel what I'm saying? And even if you don't have kids yet, maybe that's your spouse. Now, good luck with telling your spouse to get out of the room at a certain time. That will not fly with Big Cramm, but you have to be willing to set those boundaries. So here's my point. By 6:45, 7 o'clock, my kids are up. Now I can be engaged, and that creates a good start to the day. Where we play, we laugh, we'll turn on music. We will enjoy that time together, because my kids, for 5 years of her life, Emma was used to her being second to my work. And those of you that know my story, that is what drove me, because I hated that. So I don't want them to resent this business like they resented mom's other jobs. Y'all feel me? That's important. Honor your priorities. And then here's the other thing. From 8 to noon, and then from 1 to 5, whatever the requirements of your full-time job is. And for my stay-at-home mamas, the same is true here. If your kids are in school and you have those pockets of time, y'all, I resented my full-time job more than I could possibly tell you, because I didn't want to be there, and I didn't want to be around those people. I wanted to be here and around my people, around you guys. But here's the thing. You have to prosper where you're planted. If you are not willing to be fiercely obedient to where you are, what makes you think you're going to be radically obedient to where you've been called? You have to be obedient. You have to honor the day job that for 5 years was paying my bills. Like, I had to, because that's a testimony to your character. Do you see what I'm saying? So from 8 to 12, I was in it. I was focused. I didn't have, I may have on occasion grabbed my phone and walked away, but my phone was out because I didn't even want to be tempted. You guys, be excellent where you are, okay? And remember that you reap what you sow. Take those 15-minute breaks. Get up, go to the bathroom, and be intentional with them. Don't just spend 15 minutes and go yap it up with a coworker and complain about how stupid everyone is in the next cubicle with you, or how much Scott's cologne is making you want to throw up. No, be intentional with how you're spending your time. And here's what I want to tell. I feel like there's someone on this call right now that needs to hear this. You're trying so much to get out of that current situation, but what if you're still there because you are meant to be a blessing to someone that you see every single day and you're too prideful to realize it? Be a blessing where you are in your job right now, and be obedient and serve with excellence there. Okay? And y'all, that took me a hard time to learn, but when I did, man, it made it more fun. It really did. Okay? So here's the thing. Like I said, use those breaks. I can't tell you how many things I've closed walking to the bathroom, how many challenge packs or how many new coaches I've closed on making those walks. But you got to be intentional with it. And then here's the thing. Y'all, take a lunch. Not log back into your business, not get on social media. Take a lunch break. Even for my mamas who are home, take a lunch break, go out on a walk, sit on your patio, get outside. Here's why. And I don't even care if you have to go to your car, because I had many of those days too. I just need to get I can't go home. I don't have the money to go out to lunch, but I need to get the hell up out of this office. Go sit in your car. Go sit in your car. Because here's the thing, sometimes your brain needs a chance to just stop going into overdrive so you can just work towards your vision. Your brain needs time to rest. You need time to sit back and just soak it all in. And sometimes that means saying no to people. Sometimes that means saying no to the chatty coworker that always wants to go out and gossip, or your BFF at work. Or maybe that means saying no to people that want to talk to you about your business or coaching, and the only time they have available is lunch. I'm not saying never do those things, but y'all, if you use every single moment with this business, when are you going to find time for the things that are going to help you on a deeper level? You know what I mean? So this may mean, and again, it depends on where you are in your business. Sometimes that means taking that full hour. Sometimes it means saying, hey, I'm going to take a 30-minute break for me. And then the other 30 minutes, I had to do this a lot, you guys. I'm going to take 30 minutes for me. And then I'm going to take 30 minutes and then I'm going to do more with my business, right? So maybe connecting and inviting. Maybe it's following up. Maybe it's your team page check-ins. Maybe it's social media. Here's the thing. It shouldn't take forever, though. It should not take you forever. And you might even schedule in that second 30-minute window. You might even schedule a coach opportunity share during that time. Or maybe you do pour into 2 of your coaches. Do you know what I mean? But it's important to know, you've got to have that balance. The most important thing is that you got to stay in phase 1. It goes back to the inviting. If you're not inviting, it doesn't matter the other stuff that you do. Okay? And then the other thing is, so come back, focus on your day job, and then it's the drive home. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would find myself so many times where my day job, the demands, the people, the expectation, it would leave me coming home feeling like I wasn't just driving my car on an empty tank, but I was driving my body on fumes. And you got to look at your priorities, right? Like, I know we're all here. We all want to grow a business. We all want to be successful in this. But man, y'all, there's a lot of people in this network whose marriages have fallen apart, whose families have fallen apart, where they have fallen apart. Like, I'm not willing to sacrifice those things for a rank or for a paycheck. I'm just not, And so the last thing that I want to do is come home and seeing my kids, seeing Jeremy, feeling like I'm giving them my leftovers. So I would use that time in the car where, this is, and honestly, you guys, this is where I would build a lot of my business, was in the car. Before I would leave the parking lot at my job, before I would walk out of my garage and into my house, I would finish up my things. Do you know what I mean? Do a 30-minute power half hour in your car before you get home, before you walk in the door. And have that final challenge group check-in if you have to. Stay focused. Give yourself 5 minutes and say, I'm going to be focused on this one task. That's it. And here's the thing, like, you can send those messages out, you can do all that part, but here's the thing, you've got to be willing to model what we expect our coaches to duplicate. And so you've got to set some boundaries with that. If they know that you can answer those messages between 5 and 5:30, don't answer them at 6 o'clock when you're supposed to be sitting down with dinner at your family. So use that time after work in your car to tie up those loose ends. And then here's the thing, unplug, put the phone away, turn the alerts off, and now spend time with the people that you are working so hard for. And give yourself grace and permission to do that. And then for me, like I said, at first, y'all, and my kids are, they're a little bit older now, so I don't have to be so mama bear. But then it's in the evenings, because when I was spending, y'all, 65 hours a week, it was easily 12-hour days. Where I was coming home, I was still working. So sometimes that meant if I didn't get things done earlier in the day, or if there were things that I needed to finish up on where I needed to sacrifice a little bit of sleep, I needed to sacrifice binge watching Netflix, And so for my kids at the age where they were when I started, y'all, like my kids, it takes them a while to go to bed. I'm not that blessed to be like, get your jammies on, go brush your teeth, go to bed. It's like an hour, maybe. So like 7:15, we'd start bedtime. I don't care how light it was outside. Like, yeah, I'm going to bed, And so, but we would spend time. It wasn't just like, go to bed because mom's got something better to do. Like, don't give your kids that message. But we would spend time to kind of come together. We would get the house cleaned up for the next day, And I remember Brody at the time was, I think, 3, just turned 3. So he'd spray a little water bottle like he's cleaning stuff off, and he'd wipe, stuff down. But you guys, like, how many, especially of us mamas, were like, my house is always a mess. My house is a mess too, but damn, get your kids to help. Like, make it fun. Sing like Mary Poppins or something and help clean up. But we would do that. We'd spend 20 minutes. We'd pull things together. We'd start getting things ready for the next day, And then, again, by 7:30, they had baths, all that good stuff. By 7:50, we're reading a story and lights are out. And y'all, this was a big deal because for so long, Emma would come to me and she'd go, Mommy, can you read me a bedtime story? Can you play with me? No, baby, Mommy's too busy. I have to work. So those things that your kids, those of you that have kids, or maybe it's your spouse, and we'll get there in a minute. So, but those things your kids are asking you to Mommy, come and do this with me. Like, for the love of God, if you cannot make time right now when your business is in infancy stages, what makes you think that you're going to make time for it when your business is massive? You've got to be willing to make time for that. So for us, that was important. And then lights are out by 8, maybe 8:30 to 10. I don't know. And here's the thing. They just needed to stay in their room. That was the rule. You stay in your room. I don't care. Read a book. Stay in your room. And then this is where, the nights during the week was a little bit of a different option. And you guys, I will tell you, my biggest mistake was I would tuck the kids in. I would spend this one-on-one time with the kids, and then I would immediately come up and I would get to work. And I think Jeremy snapped a picture where he loved on me a little bit too much in the post when really like the story behind it was he was a little bit bitter because I was on the computer at like 10:30, 11 o'clock and I still hadn't said goodnight to him. All right, y'all. If you have a spouse, if you have a significant other, there is no better way for them to resent this business and for them to resent you by you putting this ahead of them. Ask Jeremy. So tuck your kids in, get a couple things done if you have to, but y'all make time to connect with your spouse. Like, and I'm telling you, I won't keep you that much longer because my like call to action to you guys isn't like just business. Like, go plan your schedule. Go have sex with your spouse. Like, tell them thank you for you having the time to do this. Okay? Like we can talk about making time for our kids, but you got to make time for them, you guys. You have to. Because they play a role in this too. And if you don't have one, we're going to pray and we're going to prophesy that yes, indeed, it won't be long now. They are coming. But you've got to have that mindset. Like, you're building this not just for you. Okay? So maybe that means, Jeremy would watch ESPN and I hated some of the stupid dude shows. But you know what I would do? I would sit with them. I can sit with them and I can catch up on a couple things. I could plan some things. You know what I mean? But I'm spending time with them. And here's the thing. You don't have to work 24/7 in this business. It's just how you are focusing your time. So when I worked, you guys, it literally was, where are those cracks of my day? And what season are you in right now? And I will tell you, it's not really that much different now that I'm home. Except for the fact that when I get my kids off on the bus, instead of having that 30 minutes of drive time into my job, I now come home and before I even get into the meat of my work, before I check in with my challengers or schedule content or come up with posts, I'm spending 30 minutes in, for me, prayer and devotion and personal development. Like I'm filling that cup up first because, regardless of what you believe or what your methods are, I am not building this business if my Heavenly Father, who has more power than I do, isn't in it. Because I'm not that good. So my commute time just looks a little bit different. But, while my kids are in school, that's my thing. But here's the thing. I messed up. They get off the bus at like 3:30. And I remember promising Jeremy, I'm going to be done. Now that I'm home, I'm going to be done by the time they get off the bus. That first Monday, they went back to school. I kid you not. First day they went back. They came in. I was like, give me 10 more minutes. I'm almost done. How many of y'all said that? Give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes usually turns into an hour, right? Maybe an hour and a half if you're really like in the zone and you forgot how much time had passed. And this is the thing that oftentimes we will look at our spouse or we will look at our kids and feel a little bit of bitterness or other family members, you guys, or your friends. And we will get mad at them for calling us out on the things that they have every right to call us out on. And if I'm being honest with you, I would do that with my kids. Mom, put your phone down. Well, no, I'm almost done. If you weren't interrupting me, I would have been done by now. Right? But Jeremy looked at me that day and he loves me so much that he's not going to let me get away with my own bullshit. And he said, this is not going to happen. You're now home. This is not going to happen. And y'all took everything. I had to bite my tongue because I just wanted to tell him. But every single day since, I have made it a point to make sure that I am done by 3 o'clock, which means I can't get distracted. So by the time my kids get off the bus, I am waiting for them instead of them coming up and finding me. Okay? And so if you are the mom who you're home full time, and let's say your kids don't even go to school, they're napping or they cling to you and they need you, here's what I will tell you, that those pockets of time, you've got to make the most of it because you're not always going to have that time with your kids, you know? And so if that means, you know, maybe, you know, if you're home with your kids, make breakfast, take a walk, play blocks with them, play trains with them, run errands, listen to the national wake-up call while you're running errands. Do you know what I mean? The only time I will bring my phone with me, like when our kids are home from school and they literally are home, the only time I will have my phone on me is to take a picture. I try not to answer text. I try not to get on Facebook, and my notifications are definitely off. And some of that just gave y'all anxiety right now because you're like, I don't want FOMO. I don't want to miss something. You're not. I mean, you're going to miss something, but that thing that you're going to miss is going to be worth more than that 25% commission, than that team cycle. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but work them in the pockets, you guys. And here's the thing, like, even if your kids, if you have kids or you have little ones where you are home, don't feel like you can't be honest with them and saying, here's what we're going to do. 30 minutes. I'm going to give you these coloring pages like Emma would sprawl out up here. But, you know, even when we were, before this was like an office, you color, and for 30 minutes, mommy's going to do something and we're going to play work. You know, or make it a game and let them feel like they're a part of what you're doing too, right? But you have to be willing to communicate, number one. Number two, you have to be willing to set some parameters, and you have to know what your own weaknesses are and eliminate those distractions, because it kills me all the time. Like, you know, because I've said them, and when people say it to me, well, I just don't have time. I'm like, I see you on social media all day long. Like, show me your invite list. Show me your business activity tracker. You want the extra income. You want to build a business. You want to build a legacy. Then show me what you're doing. Because many of us, we say that we don't have time, but if we're being honest, we're spending every ounce of our energy following everyone else when we're not doing it. Y'all, like, I'm just telling you the things that I've done. You know? So you've got to be willing. If you want something different, then you have to do something different. Not your boss, not your job, not your spouse, not your kids. You have to do something different. But here's what I will promise you, you guys. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is just going to kind of be centered around like that feeling overwhelmed. Because I know many, like, that's a very real thing. And I get irritated when people don't have compassion for each other. When it's like, I'm feeling like there's too much. I feel like I'm overwhelmed. Like, you've got to have compassion for that, because if we're all being honest, we've all felt overwhelmed and we've all felt burdened. We've all felt like, man, can I really do this? Because this is like taking everything I got. Have a planner. And I don't know, like everyone is different. So like I use Brendan Burchard's high performance planner. I know some people have used Planner Pad. Whatever works best for you, but it has to be pen and paper. Don't rely on it on your phone, because here's what happens. If you digitalize everything, what are you tempted to do? Oh, it's time. Wait, well, let me check this first. Let me go see this, follow this Instagram story, and then 50 minutes later, you've wasted what little time you have. Discipline yourself to have something written down on paper. I learned that years ago from Chalene Johnson, you guys. You've got to put things on paper. You have to. And then follow it like your vision depends on it, because guess what? It freaking does. It does. And I promise you, this is where you will find peace. If you have 15 minutes a day to work your business, those 15 minutes better be spent in phase A. Phase 1, phase A. I don't care, like, and I even had a season, you guys, where I didn't post hardly on social media. I think it was like this past October. I was barely on. Like, if you looked at my wall, I wasn't posting 3 to 5 times a day. I was maybe posting once every other day. But I hit Success Club 10 by the 15th of the month. I recruited 4 new coaches. So the days of posting and praying don't happen. You have to stay in phase one. You have to do the things that are going to move your business forward. Otherwise, you just have a time-sucking hobby. Okay? Life will settle down. I promise you. I pinky promise you. We are called to be people lovers, not people pleasers. All right? So all my friends that like, you don't need likes. You don't need followers. Like, y'all check my feed. I hardly like, maybe if I post something with Big Cramm, I'll get a lot of love, but I don't, because I'm not defined by the number of likes or comments, and you aren't either. So stop chasing them. Love bomb on people. That is your job. Robin asked, do I use Facebook or Instagram most for inviting? I use both. I meet a lot of new people on Instagram. But y'all, we forget that there are people on Facebook that like, we just don't follow up with them. We're not being consistent with that. People that already follow you. Like if you have more than 200 friends, I guarantee you there's people on Facebook that you can follow up with. Only like that was the case for me. You know what I mean? You do not have to respond to text immediately. You don't have to answer your Facebook or your Instagram messages right away. You don't. You're not missing out. I promise you. Because here's the thing, and Melissa, I'm going to call you out because I know you're my girl on here. What type of, and this is for everybody, like if Melissa texts me and 30 seconds later I'm responding, no matter what time of the day, what type of expectation am I setting for my coach? That I have to be available 24/7, otherwise I can't be successful at this. No. Like, people respect your boundaries, you guys. So you got to set them. You don't have to respond immediately. And if the numbers give you anxiety or turn them off. Check them in the time that you set. I'm going to check my messages. And then plus, if you do that, like I said, you're painting a picture for your challengers. You're painting a picture of your business. And here's the thing. What I learned, and please tell me I'm not the only one that's gone through this. I have learned the reason why so many people have not wanted to do what I do is because my work ethic is exhausting to them. Like, I don't want to be on my phone all the time. I don't want to live on social media. I don't want, like, and even though I was doing it because I genuinely loved it, it was also setting an expectation for people who were following me and still having that like conversation with themselves. I'm like, I kind of like what they're doing, but I don't know if I'm willing to do all of that. And then what happens is even when you tell them like, no, you can do it your way, they're sitting back going, yeah, but I've been watching you and like, I can't. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're setting that expectation without even realizing it. So think about that long term, that if you're feeling challenged and if your coaches start to become overwhelmed or burdened, before we start giving them counsel, we first have to look in the mirror and going, what activities am I doing that's setting that expectation for them even without me saying a word? Okay? And then don't lead them into believing that running this business means it runs your life. Because it shouldn't. And I will tell you guys, those of you guys that heard Jeremy talk on like from a spouse's perspective, and he's a big goofball anyway, but there was one Halloween, like we're out with all of our friends, and Jeremy hates Halloween anyway. Like he hates it. He's like, I'm a grown man. I can dress up whenever I want to. I don't need a holiday. Like he doesn't like it. And he made a comment. He was like, I think one year, like in front of all of our friends, like as I'm standing there, was like, I think next year I'm going to dress up as an iPhone just so my wife will play with me. Only he didn't laugh. Like he was dead serious. And I was like, oh, that's bad, you guys. So this can work in the busy cracks of your day. But what I realized, and I pray to God that you guys realize too, is that if you are not at the point where you are in your business, if your income is not there, if you don't have the leaders, the workers following you on your team, you got to sit back and go, well, what am I focusing and investing my time in? Am I more worried about my Instagram feed? Am I more worried about the content I'm putting out there than what I'm actually doing? Because the coaches that I know on my team, the reason why they're stuck, they're just not inviting. They're not in phase one. They're trying to give the appearance that they're doing the things, but they're not actually doing the things. Why? Because that's what I did. That's what I did. And so there comes a point on deciding, and Brooke, and I can share this with you guys too, if you wanted to share this with your team. I actually laid this out with my team. We had a big kind of rally together where a bunch of us were feeling very, very frustrated and not really sure where to turn. And so we created a pick your path. And I know we go through this with our coaches in the very beginning on what type of coach do you want to be, but now we have a pick your path. And here, let me see if I want to share my screen real quick so you guys can see this. Y'all see this graphic that I have? Brooke, I can share this with you guys too. So we've basically said, and we've identified based on the path that you are, based on the type of coach that you are, this is what you have to do, right? If you are just a discount coach, number one, you are not just, you have a place on this team. You have a place in this community. But here's what it means. It means that you love and you use the products. It means that you want that discount. You love being a part of our accountability groups. You also, because you're kind of nosy like I am, like you kind of want to know when things are dropping and you want the insider scoop, but you're not interested in leading and having your own groups, but know where you are and know that these are the action steps. This is the job description, right? But for those hobby coaches, and just out of curiosity, like how many of y'all on here are like, when we go through these things, like this is a self-honest evaluation. What type of coach are you? Because maybe you say that you're building a legacy, but your activities are showing you're really a hobby coach, right? So a hobby coach, you still use the products. You're still a proof of the product first. You're sharing them constantly. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm learning. This is what I'm realizing. But maybe you're interested in making that small commission by referring friends and family, people that already like, know, and trust you. Maybe this is getting your products paid for. But maybe then you would like to learn more about the business, but you have no intention of leaving your day job. You love your day job. Like you're going to be there until the day you retire, right? The third path is community builder. And these, you guys, I realized a lot of my coaches who said that they wanted to work this business actually kind of fell into this category. And here's the thing, like that's okay, but you got to know where people are so you can love them where they are. Again, you're still using and loving the products openly. You love the community, but now you want to also link arms and you want to help lead other people too. You want to create your own little community. You see the income potential, but you love the idea of this being a side hustle. And know that side hustle, there's no dollar sign amount, right? But here's the difference with legacy builder. The difference with legacy builder is that you're still using the products. You not only want to lead a challenge group, but now you're building a team, and that intention and duplication of success. So you guys, this is where time management and getting your business organized is going to be so helpful for you that are sitting here saying, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm not building this for me or for my kids, my future kids, but for their kids and that the third and fourth generation. You've got to be willing to duplicate that. Otherwise, you stay in community builder phase. It's that duplication that makes this truly a legacy, right? And then you see that potential to create that freedom. And you guys, this is where, I'm going to stop this. Brooke, I can share that with you guys later if you want to post that in your team. Here's the difference, you guys. Like, you have to define winning for you. Not how Steph defined winning, not how Brooke defined winning, not how Ashley Molstad or, Melanie Mitro. Like, babe, how do you define winning for you? And that's what you have to do, right? But you have to not only say, this is the type of coach I want to be and this is where I want to go. You have to be willing to work with your schedule and do the things that are expected if that's what you say that you want, right? So can you be in the middle? Absolutely. Absolutely. The challenge is, how long are you willing to stay in that gap? Because here's what I will tell you about being in the gap. There's a lot of uncertainty in the gap. There's a lot of, like, you can't be half pregnant. At some point, you've got to be willing to make a decision. You have to be willing, not your upline. You have to be willing to make a decision. But don't be half pregnant. Right? And this is where it takes sitting back and going, what do I really want out of this business? So here's what I'm going to leave you guys with. Because like I said, this business works when you make the time, not create it, when you're willing to work it in the pockets of your day, and when you're able to duplicate it. So one of the things that I've started doing with my newer coaches and backpedaling with my veteran coaches is I've gone back and I've said, what do you want? What do you want right now? Not that we don't talk about vision moving forward, but I want to help them where they are right now. And then the next question I ask them is, for a lot of the people that I talk to, it is that extra. You guys hear me all the time. I talk about breathing room, right? Time breathing room, financial breathing room. And so it's usually one of those things. So what is your number? Everyone's got one. For me, it was, I want to get to 40 hours work in a week so I can have 15 extra hours with my family. I want to be able to come home and enjoy that time at the dining room table. For me, money-wise, it was an extra $200 a month. Y'all, I told you, it was $200 made a difference 5 years ago if our bank accounts were overdrafted. And we had two really good salaried, we didn't get overtime, corporate jobs. Everyone has a number. What is that number for you? This is what I ask my coaches. Third question is, how much time? How much time each day are you willing to commit to doing very, very simple, very specific things? How much time? And then how long are you willing to do that? And here's the thing. My coaches that say, well, I'll give it 6 months. Look, y'all, I want to build my team. I want to link arms with runners too, but I am not going to mislead people. And I'm not afraid to tell them, if they want to earn $2,000 and they're going to give it 6 months, like $2,000 a week, and they want to do it in 6 months, I am not afraid to go back and say, then you may want to make more sacrifices, or you may want to get realistic, because you can't have both. But here's the thing, that if they tell you those things and you are giving them wise counsel and you are leading them, then you go back and you say, all right, if I can teach you, if I can show you how to get that number by investing this amount of time over this length of time, are you willing to lean in with me? Are you willing to show up? And are you willing to be patient, just like you would on your health and fitness journey? I let them tell me. Because here's the thing, you guys, like I think a lot of times, and this is where I'll wrap up, I think a lot of times we get stuck into hour a day, right? Do your power hour every day. That doesn't always fit with everyone's schedule. So let us as leaders, and every single one of y'all on here are leaders, even if you're watching the replay, you made the time to listen to this, you're a leader. Take the time and mentor them. Show them how this fits in their life. This isn't a cookie cutter. But here's what else it does, you guys. Those coaches who have told you all of those things, the moment that accountability is what we do, right? It works. The moment that they stop showing up, The moment that they start getting quiet or they stop, this changes the conversation for you as their coach. Because now instead of you checking in and saying, where are you? What's going on? Now all that you're doing, this is what makes the difference between a coach and a salesperson. Because now you can go back to them and say, hey, Kristen, because I love you, girl. Hey, Kristen, you remember when we first talked and you told me this is what your vision was, this is what you wanted, right? You said that it was going to be a difference of $200 every month. And you said you were willing to invest 30 minutes a day. I know we're all busy. How are you still dealing with that? And do you remember that this is what you said was important to you? What's changed? How do we need to readjust? Do you see how that conversation is so less intimidating? And it doesn't give shame. It doesn't give, you know what I mean? Like you're not, oh my God, I don't want to let my coach down, or, you know what I mean? It opens up a conversation where we can come to the people who have said yes to us and we can serve them with love without making them feel bad because life happened and they're not able to show up how they expected. So I would just encourage you guys, last things, number one, take an honest evaluation of your schedule. Not self-bullying. This is a permission to self-reflect. The second thing is know that it takes sacrifice, but you got to know the season that you're in. Maybe you are in the season where you have to make some sacrifices, but know that it's going to pay off. And the third thing is this business only works when it can be duplicated. If you are not able to show your coaches how to make this fit in their life, you're going to be a lonely party of one. And none of us are here to run this or do this by ourselves. It's not fun. So that's what I got.
Thank you, Steph. We need to get you on the stage at Summit. You're like the best. I could listen to you for like 17 more hours.
Girl, if you can pull some strings.
You are so good. I mean, in everything you said, I felt like, I mean, I'm ready to like be an infant in the business and start over. But I totally like, get up and do my invite.
But don't be afraid. Like, I don't care how long y'all have been in this business. You guys, like, I drew a line in the sand January 1st, and I was like, I'm hitting the redo button.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like, do it.
Totally. None of us are where we want to be, so. So when you send the messages at 5:45 in the morning, they just respond throughout the day whenever. I'm going to start doing that. And turning my notifications off for sure. Does anybody have any questions? Because Steph is the bomb. So let's take advantage while she's on. She's like the leading recruiter on FitForce, our upline. She's really, really good. So if you have questions.
And you guys like, and Brooke, let me just like, because you guys, with that being said, you will never hear my name on a national wake-up call for being a top recruiter. Like, that's just not how I roll. I preach it. Melissa can call me out on it if I'm not being honest. I focus on quality. I don't want to just sign people up and like have them lose, like get lost in the cracks. Like, I don't. But I will consistently 2 to 3 coaches a month. That's it, you guys. Like, it's not crazy numbers, but I'm consistent. I'm consistent every month, you know? So don't feel like you've got to throw up these crazy numbers. It's not what it's about. It's about being consistent.
Definitely. So good. So good. Does anybody else have any questions? Was that helpful? Like, so helpful? Yeah. Thank you so much, Steph.
You're welcome, honey.
That was awesome, as always.
Y'all are welcome. And seriously, if anything pops up, you guys, drop me a message or ask, you know, and I'll be honest, if I don't have the answer, I'll tell you. I don't have it, but I'll find something to help you with. So you guys, we're all in this together, and there's no perfect way to do it. So you have to give yourself grace too. You know what I mean?
There is. That's very true. Everybody works different for everybody. Can we take a picture real quick before anybody else gets off? Okay. Everybody smile. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I guess we will see you at Summit will be the next time. Just so soon. Crazy.
Yes. Can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you
So
so
excited for
much.
Summit.
You're welcome. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.